Hello guys, so in this video I'm gonna go over how to find a unit vector. And a unit vector basically just is a very simple problem solving skill that you use a lot in Cal 3 but use it in other classes too. So especially if you're doing an engineering major, physics major, you will see the unit vector come up a lot, but it's a very simple procedure. So basically the idea is the unit vector is a vector itself, but so unit vector will give you a vector, not a scalar. So the first step we do is we're gonna find v prime, and in parentheses I'll put magnitude. So to find v prime, the magnitude of v, a vector v, we simply just take, so magnitude of vector v is equal to 1 squared plus 0 squared plus 2 squared. Take the magnitude, 0 squared plus 4 squared plus 2 squared plus 1 squared is equal to the square root of 5. The next step is literally just to plug into unit vector formula. So basically, just divide every term by this value that we got, by whatever your magnitude is. Just divide every term by it. So the unit vector, which is equal to vector v over vector v prime, is equal to 1, 0, 2, divided by the square root of 5. So every individual term is dividing by the square root of 5. So we'll get, so to simplify this a step further, the unit vector is equal to 1 over the square root of 5. We're going to radicalize this, and all I'm simply doing is just radicalizing. So that's how you radicalize. And this middle term is just 0. This end term is 2 times the square root of 5 divided by 5. And all I simply did was just radicalize it. But you don't have to do that unless your professor wants you to do it. But if you don't have to do it, don't do it. Save your time for other problems. What's the unit vector used for? It's used for direction. It's used a lot in other engineering classes, for force vectors. Use it a lot to find the unit tangent vector, unit normal vector, unit binormal vector. It's basically like a baby step for other larger, longer problems. So your exam probably will not ask you to find a unit vector. It'll probably ask you to find maybe a unit binormal vector, but in that you have to know how to do the unit vector as one of your problem solving steps. Thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful. Hello guys. So in this video, we're going to find out how to find a unit vector, which is honestly a very simple process. We have a formula right here. Anytime you see U hat, this little caret symbol, it means that it's a notation for unit vector. So basically we have our vector v, and we divide it by the magnitude of our vector v. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and find the magnitude of v, and we're going to go ahead and compute it. So our magnitude of v is equal to this thing. So each one of these terms squared, then we take the square root. So 10 squared plus 5 squared plus minus 7 squared. And then we take the square root of this. So in computing the square root, we get 100 plus 49 plus 25. What does that equal us? 174. Could we radicalize this, simplify this? Yeah, we absolutely could. Am I going to do the algebra for that? No. Why? Because it's not super necessary. Unless you have a professor that really, really wants you to radicalize it. But I think it's proper but not necessary. And so I'm not going to do it. So basically now the next step is to divide every term by the magnitude of v. So that's our unit vector. Keep in mind this is our magnitude. So our unit vector is going to be equal to 10, 5, -7. All this divided by 174. So we can simplify this. We could radicalize it. I'm not going to, just because it seems like a longer one. I see it unnecessary. Unless your professor explicitly says radicalize, don't radicalize if you don't have to. Save yourself the trouble. Okay, I'm running out of room. And I'm running out of markers, so we'll just go ahead and we'll do it down here. So 10 divided by 174 inside a square root plus 5 divided by 174 inside a square root plus -7 divided by 174 inside a square root. And that is equal to our unit vector. So don't forget the vector notation like I did. But that's basically what a unit vector is. So easy, right? Magnitude. We have this formula right here. Very straightforward. Vector v divided by the magnitude of vector v. So every time you're asked to find a unit vector, you take the magnitude of the vector and you divide every term by the magnitude of that vector. And in doing that, we got basically 10 divided by the square root of 174, 5 divided by the square root of 174, and -7 divided by the square root of 174. Thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful.